Hi, boys and girls. I know yesterday with Miss Linda you had a song about the parts of a flower, the parts of a plant that has a flower, and we're going to talk about that today too. I went and got a plant that I'm sure all of you know, a dandelion. All right, and you can see, of course, the flower up at the top, right there, the pretty yellow flower. And then it has quite a long stem and quite a few leaves too. And down at the bottom, I think you can see the roots. Some of them are kind of fat, but they have little skinny parts branching off, and there's quite a bit to those roots, if you can see. All right, trying to show you so you can see all that. But that's the parts of that kind of plant, a dandelion. All right, now when you're in your yard, you see the flower and the stem and the leaves, but you don't see the roots unless if you dig one up. And if you try to pull one up, it'll probably break before it comes up. When I dug this one up, I had to use a little trowel like this to get it because those roots really want to help that plant stand up there. And if you think of any plant on the ground, they all have roots because that's the part that brings the water up to the plant. The plant needs water, and the plant needs some minerals and other things from the soil, and everything has to come up through the roots to feed the plant. Okay, now the leaves feed the plant too. That's from sunlight. Sunlight on leaves makes a plant grow, gives it food. So plants are a little different than us. They don't eat lunch or eat breakfast, but they do need things to grow, and their leaves help them use sunlight to grow, and their roots bring up things from the soil for them to grow too. So I thought what we could make today would be a picture of that. So that's what I did. I took some dark colored paper, dark blue, and I cut a round circle for the dandelion because they're pretty much a circle. And then I made a stem, a green stem and green leaves. And then I showed where the ground was. And then I made roots out of brown paper. I just kind of cut, let's see, what did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so rectangles of brown and put them on the bottom. And then I have labels for each part. I said, well, I'm going to put the labels in the right place. So this word says, of course, flower, and this one says stem. Leaves are here and here, and roots. And this isn't a perfect picture because you could see that a real dandelion has more leaves than 2 usually, but and it has longer roots and little parts coming out of the big parts, but this is just a simple one that we can do ourselves to show these important parts of a plant because that's the way plants are made. Now the seeds, because you know you need seeds, the seeds will come from the flower of a dandelion. In a couple weeks, you'll see that they turn all white and puffy, and you can pick them up and blow the seeds away, and that will help the seeds find a new place to grow next year. So that's kind of a helpful thing to do for dandelions, okay? But it's interesting to think about the parts of the flower. Each part is very important. If we didn't have a flower, how could we get seeds? That's where they come from. If we didn't have leaves, how could the sunlight feed the plant? If it didn't have a nice strong stem, how could it stand up straight? And if it didn't have roots, how could it get the things it needs from the soil? And how could it stay strong in the ground? So it's interesting to think about plants, and maybe you can make a picture like this one today. Okay? So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.